about to go down on It's Your World Radio with your girl Lateka S Carter live.
Lateka S Carter Show. Lateka S Carter Show. Lateka S Carter Show. Sit back, unwind, open up your ear, and elevate your mind. Show topics to educate you and to inspire your grind. We help you to stay focused and entertain your day with an hour of power to help you find your way.
It's Your World Radio. Lateka S Carter's on a new platform where she educate, enlighten, entertain, and empower the audience worldwide.
Lateka S Carter Show. Lateka S Carter Show. Lateka S Carter Show. It's showtime. Let's go. It's showtime. Let's go. Welcome to the Lateka S Carter Show. I am so grateful and elated to have you on here with us tonight. We're bringing another dynamic, incredible, beautiful woman on who's going to share some powerful nuggets. She's going to help us understand how to love us, teach me how to love me beyond the divorce. Oh, Lord, these are for those who got heart issues, or who have man-woman issues, or who have those things that went wrong when all you wanted it to do was go right. Okay, so I'm so grateful to have you on here with us so that we can have one incredible hour-packed show full of nuggets. Now, I do understand Coach Sima Ytina is a female, and that means there are going to be some male who are going to be coming in and they're going to be watching. Now, I want to put this disclaimer out there. Continue to watch. Please continue to watch, because I know she's going to be touching on some other topics that pertain to men as well, because, you know, we can't be in this situation without the other party anyway. So we're going to bring on this beautiful woman. I want to let you know, just in case you don't know who she is, Sima Clark Torian is what I call her. Coach Sima Ytina. She is a twice certified, spirit-led, abundant life confidence and transformation coach. Besides being a called advocate for women, Sima is also a 3-time Amazon best-selling author, international speaker, mentor to teenage and young adult women, serial entrepreneur, and mother of 2 handsome and sweet young men named Jeremiah and Jacoby. Sima's life purpose is to help equip women with the life skills to cultivate healthy, I'm going to say that one more time, healthy relationships with themselves as well as with others by focusing on building a positive self-image through healing and transformation. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on this beautiful woman. Please, 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 by all means, comment. We want to have your feedback. If you're watching on YouTube, we're on there as well. Your comments will come on over. You're on Facebook. Please shout her out if you know her. Let her know, what's up, girl? How you doing? If she helped you, let her know. Let the world know. Look, she helped me get through some stuff, okay? So she is a coach. She's going to do her thing, but she's also a beautiful woman of God. And we have done a few projects together. So I am grateful to bring on with you tonight, Coach Sima Ytina.
Hey, Lateka S Carter Show. Lateka S Carter Show.
Yeah, I know.
It's back here harmonizing and everything.
That's awesome. Thank you. I am so glad to have you on this platform again tonight. I love being able to reach out to you to pull in the different types of nuggets and experiences, the knowledge, your skills that you have, where you can share with others, especially with those relationships. And because this is February, the love month. Wait, hold up. There's something going on this week, right? What's going on this week?
This weekend.
This
This
weekend.
weekend.
Yes, all the hearts and all the roses and all the upsets and how he didn't and what she did do. And that's my boo and that's my bae. I'm going to Victoria's Secret. I'm going to get all this right type of weekend, right?
All of it. All of it.
All of it. All of it, right? So we know Valentine's Day is the 14th and it's kind of different because of COVID is still going on. So I want to be able to talk about some of that later as well, where we're going to bring on what does dating really look like after the divorce? What does it look like now? So I want you to just let people know in your own words. I know I read your bio, but I just wanted you to break it down. Let them know how they can follow you, your website information, and how they can actually sow into the words that God is blessing you to release tonight.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Lateka. As you said, we've done several projects together, and I am elated to be hanging out with you again. Of course, our favorite subject seems like we connect together on relationships. I just want to let everybody know you can find me on all the social media platforms. Facebook is where I am primarily, and then of course Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, Sima Ytina Clark, and Instagram, Sima Ytina. Same as Twitter, and me on YouTube as well, Sima Ytina Clark. I am your favorite confidence and transformation coach, and Lateka. Last year, I think we all went through this season of just doing something different. God was doing something really different last year. And so I switched over from relationship coaching. We can talk about that later, made a little switch over, transition to confidence and transformation. But relationship coaching is near and dear to my heart. And God birthed it out of me right out of a divorce. So that is significant, and I want people to know that, because that is when God gave me my ministry, my call, and everything. Is I was coming right out of a divorce. So let me tell you something: divorce does not have to define you, and it is not the final say. You won't be the first, and you sure won't be the last. So listen, God wants us to stay married, but there are cases when you get divorced, and it is not the end of your life. If you don't hear anything else I say tonight, I want you to hear that it's not the end of your life. I'm gonna prove it to you tonight. I'm gonna prove it to you. It's not the end of your life. So I'm just so happy to be here and cannot wait.
I am so glad to have you on here. And this is not the end of your life. I love how you put that down, how you made sure you said it a few times, because we want that to stick in the hearing, but also in our minds, to understand where divorce hurts a lot.
Yes.
For many people, and it doesn't feel good, but it's important to talk about those things because of where we are right now, and in this peculiar year where we are right now. And I know last year many of us thought we shouldn't be going through this now, but we're still going through things on top of the mental stresses that we add, on top of the financial stresses and the struggles. We really don't want to be alone. Those that have had to go through bad relationships, or however they didn't work out. And I know when it comes to the different types of statuses that we could be in, divorce, we're just choosing to talk on that tonight. So let's just talk about, I loved how you said it helped you learn how to define the ministry. Out of your pains in life, Coach Sima Ytina was born. Right?
That's exactly right.
Right.
Yep.
So what is a typical day like for you with clients, and especially around this time of the year since the pandemic? And then we're going to work our way backwards.
Okay. For me, usually a day is filled with consultations. I'm always offering just time to connect with women. I don't particularly coach men because I am specifically called to women. I've had men reach out and want to be coached in the vein of relationships. I tend to feel like men need to be coached by men. Because I mean, I can tell you and coach you on some of the foundations from a biblical perspective, as far as what God said, which means it didn't come from me. But I think I'm unable to what's the word to feel some of the things and the struggles that men feel, and that's why I
Right.
feel like men should be coached by a man. Because hey, listen, I was raised by a single woman. I'm just going to put it out there. There was no man in my home. I don't know. And so, that's why these men coaches, these male coaches, y'all got to get out here and get it. Y'all got to rise up, because these men, they need some coaching too. But I just, spend my day, doing my consultations, and it is the time that I spend with women to make sure we're a good fit. I am
Mhm.
aware, I know I'm great and all that. I'm great, but there are times when there's no connection, and I need for the person to be able to trust me. I
Yeah.
also prayed and asked God to send women to me that we have something in common. When we have
Mm,
something in common, it helps me to build the trust. So I've yet, and this is the truth, I have yet to do a consultation with any woman so far that we didn't have something in common. So guess what? God sends a lot of them to me. They do. I mean, He
yeah.
sends them to me. Um, and so I do the consultation. We decide if we're a good fit.
Seems like it may be something going on with the live. I'm not sure. So it looks like she may be a little froze for a minute. May see if I can send her a message. I'm gonna let her get that in right place just for a moment, and we'll bring her right back up. So I'm looking at the Facebook now to make sure nothing's crazy going on. Forgive us for that interruption with the streaming part of it. I'm going to reach out to her to let her know. If you give me one moment. Oh, she's coming back in. Okay. All right. We know this is technology.
Oh,
That's
we
okay. We know. That's, that's okay. I was getting ready to reach out to you. This technology, we see, we understand how it goes. But go ahead and look as if nothing
um
happened.
yeah, and so what I was saying, your girl, the devil don't he don't listen. It get to the point where you like devil whatever. He don't even shake you
Whatever.
no more. Um,
Right.
but as I was saying, and then I use that opportunity to make some recommendations to them. What I feel like would be the best course of action for them as far as coaching. There are times that I meet ladies who I feel like needs a licensed therapist, which that is not me. So I want to make sure all the listeners understand that coaches are not therapists, unless you have a coach who also has their license, but that's not me. There are areas, depression, PTSD, trauma, things like that, very heavy levels of trauma that I may recommend the individual go to a therapist. And I've had situations where the therapist and I will work together. They go to
Mm-hmm.
therapy, and I've done that myself. I've gone to therapy and stress management coach as well. Here we go. Coaching is really for the women who are on the thriving part of life,
Mm-hmm.
which means, on the outside, everybody may look at you and say, "Hey, girl, you got it going on." But there is a couple of things, and I think I found myself there plenty of times. I still feel myself there sometimes. Like you look at your life, you're like, I'm doing good professionally, spiritually, I'm doing well. My children are behaved. Financially, I'm doing well. But there's just something that's
Yeah.
causing I feel like there's something still there, and I call that a blockage.
Oh,
And one of the
good.
stories that one of the stories that I share a lot is, how you have a sink in your home that gets stopped. That's happened.
Mm-hmm.
We found
Mm-hmm.
toys in the sink.
Right, right.
And yeah. So you go to the store and you get your Drano or whatever you get, and you pour it in there, and you let it sit for 30 minutes, and then you run the hot water down and run it, and all of a sudden you're like, oh yes, worked like a charm. 2 days later, you're like, blockage is back.
Right.
And you're like, I thought we fixed this. Did y'all put something else back down in the drain? And that is because the blockage is really down into the plumbing,
Come on. Come
right?
on.
It's in the plumbing. So what you put in there was a temporary fix, and you got to call a plumber, honey. He's got to go down and take
Mm,
things out under your sink, take everything out, and go in there and find, and then they pull out a toy, which this is a real true story. They pull
yes,
out a
yes.
toy, got all the way down in there, then the blockage is free. So there are times when we can try to self-medicate by shopping and doing whatever it is that we do as women to try to fix that thing that's kind of missing.
Oh, yeah.
But you need someone to help you get down and find out what the blockage is and remove it. And that's what coaching really is. It's we focus on behavioral changes, which is one of the reasons why I went back and got my master's. Of course, I did that last year, and then I went and got my cognitive behavioral therapy certification because I remember when I was getting divorced, I went to a CBT therapist myself, and she really helped me change my thoughts, the way I perceive things, my expectations. Um, a lot of that, she helped me change my behavior. And sometimes that's all we need. It's just somebody to partner with us to change maybe some bad habits that we have.
Right,
And
right.
that's really what coaching is about.
Wow, that's awesome. So I want to go back years later. Let's just briefly talk about uh, the relationships for you to discuss how you came to that place to realize this is not going to work. This is what I need to do, and how your life started evolving from those bad relationships. So let's talk about what.
Right.
You don't have to go into grave detail unless you want to about what went wrong or what have
Mm-hmm.
you. But I want to show the relatable side that people, that
Mm-hmm.
women and men can understand. We know bad breakups happen all the time. Whether you're married, we hear about people who's been married for 30 years, the kids leave, and there's a divorce, or something just goes wrong. But like you said before, your life is not over because these things happen. So I want you to just
That's
dive
right.
into the relatable side to let people know, look, been there, done it. Let me explain and how I came through it. Okay.
Right.
Thank
I'm
you.
sure. So for me, we were both in ministry. Me, worship leader, him being elder and like that. So, and then we had just gotten married, and because age, we immediately had children. We immediately bought a house. I want y'all to hear this, okay? We immediately had children. We immediately bought a brand new home from the ground up, and we're in ministry, all of that. And so um, I think, I was 30, I think I was 35 or 36 when I got married. And then he was 7 years older than me, so he was in his 40s. He had never been married. So that's the first thing, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to understand, when you meet someone who's in their 40s and they've never been married, you've got to understand that they have a lot of behaviors, habits they may have, been had in their life that they've never had a mirror to look back. Now, marriage is a mirror. It was intended to be that way. So when you marry, well, after everybody says I do, and the dress and all that goes in the closet, honeymoon is done, there's a mirror. And so your honey boo is the mirror. And they may say, you say things are not, don't make me feel good. And you're like, what you mean? I've been saying this for 40 years. There is something about being married, and there's a mirror. And the other person is going to probably call you on some of your behaviors. And in your mind, initially, you're thinking, what's wrong with that? But that is because now there's two of you. And so for those of you who don't know, I also marry people. And so one of the things I say in the actual wedding ceremony is that you both are going to bring your lives together. That's what Genesis 2:24 talks about. Cleave together. And cleave is just a word for glue. And so you're going to take your values, your traditions, his values, his, and you're going to put them together. But in the effort of creating a brand new life. So here we were trying to this brand new life. We got two little babies. As you guys know, my boys are 20 months apart. You guys, that was a lot. That's a lot to get married within the first 5 years. You've got children, you're in ministry, and you bought a brand new home. That's a lot. Okay. And so we didn't really have time to really get to know.
All right. Seems like her video got stuck again. Y'all, please don't act like you don't know what technical difficulties are
We're back.
like. Okay.
When a woman makes up her mind, trust me, she has thought about it. She has given it a lot of thought, and she has been through years of prayer, asking, should I, all of that. A woman has done. So when she decides that she is leaving, which is what happened to me, then there's really probably not much you can do about it. So I made a decision that I was leaving the marriage because I felt like we were not moving in the right direction. He was on I-40 and I was on 85 South. He would not go to therapy. He would not agree to bringing a couple in to help us work through it. And that's the other thing, you guys, you got to meet your partner.
Alrighty. So we're just gonna let her video render so she can come back and finish that statement. But I love what she is saying, and I'm coming on asking if you do have any questions. We would love to be able to answer some things for you, or if you have something that you want us to bring up for you, we would love to be able to.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm just gonna stay right here. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We're back. So from at that point, I began to pray and ask God, God, there's gotta be more. I know there are people out there who are asking the same thing. There's got to be more to life than going to work, taking care of these kids. I love my babies. Going to church 4 or 5 times a week, coming back, starting all over. There's got to be more to life than this. And I called God out in my prayer. He likes to hear his word repeated back to him. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute, God. Now you said in John 10:10, I believe it is, it says, "He came that I would have life." And wait a minute, you didn't even just say just any regular old life. You said, I came that you would have it more abundantly. So I'm just asking, where is this abundance? Because I feel like I did it right. We didn't have sex before marriage. We were both in ministry. We had spiritual mothers and fathers praying for us. We did premarital count. We did everything we're supposed to do. So I just asked God, listen now. Now, I did what I was supposed to do. Now, why is this not working? It has to be more. And that's when, listen, I want you guys to understand when sometimes God allows calamity
Come
in your
on.
circumstances to make you get on your face.
Come on. So good. And it would freeze when she said that, to make you get on your face. And that is nothing but the truth. I love where she is going to, the devil is a liar. We're going to keep pushing through this video. Because if you all, like I said, if you all have questions, post it out there so we can be able to address, or if you
I'm
have
going to shake it up.
Yes.
Get your attention,
Yes.
girlfriend.
Yes.
So through calamity, God has, that's why I always say, and people get mad at me when I say, your pain is your greatest gift. Besides salvation, it is one of your greatest gifts. How could this pain, Sima, that I've been through be my greatest gift? Because I promise you, honey, if you will let God use it, you're going to see places and go places that you've never seen before, because he wants to use it. He's not the kind of God that gives us anything and just let it be in vain. The song says, is my living in vain?
Yes.
And so when he showed me that I'm trying to show you something, and I began to pray, and God said, I want you to pray for divine connections. I began to pray for divine. At that time, I'm like, I don't even know what divine, but I'm going to pray divine connections. And the Lord began to send women from all over the place. You were one of them.
Wow.
Women from everywhere to walk into my life. And I mean, just so many. And I'm like, God, this is so amazing. And then, of course, you got social media. So I meet so many other women. But it's then when he began to show me, I've been walking this thing out in your life since you were little.
Wow, that part.
I've been walking this thing out. He said, remember that? And I'm like, ooh, that's it. I've been building up skill. You thought you were at work, just working for the employer, yes, and get your paycheck. But while you were there, I was forming the gift, or the gift that I gave you. I was preparing it. I was making it strong. I was making it bigger. I was making it bolder. You just didn't know. I was doing all this even at work. So I was able to take, and this is what I want all the people to know who have, been through a divorce. I want you to take that situation and let God use it. Let God use it. So here's what I had to do. I had to say, okay, God, it didn't work. Now, what was my part? I dare y'all to ask God, what was your part? I dare you to ask God, what was your part? And he said to me,
I want pull it in. Pull it in. Don't run from it. Pull it in and
don't run from it. So I'm like, what was
accept it? Deal with it.
Yes, God, what was my part? And the Lord began, and it hurt my feelings, because I was like, I didn't do that. That's exactly how I am. I just love my Father in heaven. I swear I do. Oh my God. And I'm like, I didn't do that. And then the Lord began to break it down. Yes, you did. Think about it. You did. And so what God showed me is you're so in them. All right. I want all the ladies and gentlemen that are listening. If you don't know what codependency is, that's your homework. I want you to go research it and find out what it is, because you might be codependent. Okay, that's the first thing he showed me. Second thing he showed me was you are an emasculator.
Wow.
Okay. Y'all want these men to step up and I told you I was mad. Like, no, I wasn't. And he said, you didn't do it on purpose, but it was because it was in you. Now listen, I just told you I was raised by a fierce, strong. Okay. Hey, if that brother dropped the ball, y'all know when we gonna pick up the ball, and we ain't gonna hand it back and say, hey baby, either your ball you drop, we're gonna take off running. Boom, in the end zone. Touchdown. And he like, wait a minute, that was mine to do. That was mine to do. So with that, I began to change my view so I can teach my boys. I can
Yes.
teach my boys. And then if I had a daughter, I don't have one, I have a niece, then I can teach her that it's okay to be a successful woman and but you gotta learn how to pull it back and let a man be a man. You've got to do it. You've got to do it.
While you're on that,
So that's
let's go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it just came to me. Let's talk about that independency part. Being in a relationship, yes. You still want to have your independency.
Right. That was another one that God called out. You're just too independent. You know, you don't know how to ask for help. Is there anybody out here tonight that listen? You don't know how to ask for help. You don't know how to receive help. Number 3, this was big. God, this was big. The Lord showed me you treat me the same way. See, you think I love you the same way some of these other people love you, and they let you down. That's not me. That's not me. That's not me.
Wow.
I know I'm a different type of love. I got that revelation coming home from a wedding.
That hurts right there. That part hurts. Yeah.
Right. And he's like your dad. You can't listen. I'm your father in heaven. So you can't compare me here that didn't have your father, or you might have a daddyless daughter like myself. Listen, you can't compare God to what your natural father did. And then when you get your husband, you can't compare him to your natural father. That's another place.
Come
the Lord
on,
has, you need to work on
that one too. My God.
You gotta work on that too. Now I'm telling you, this is a lot of work, but it is doable. It's doable if you open up. Some of it you're not gonna want to hear. God, it hurts.
No,
you're gonna cry. God, no, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't do that. I didn't do. Yes, you. But if you open up, don't let it be in vain. Let God use it to build you, mold you, so the next time, should you choose to get married, you'll be ready and prepared. But this independent thing, it's a give and take, ladies. It's a give and take. I did a live maybe 2 or 3 months ago called "Is the Superwoman Syndrome Killing Us Black Women?"
Wow. You said
and I talked about
what was that last part?
Is the Superwoman Syndrome killing us Black women?
Ooh, you dropped the mic. Go ahead.
And some of us need to take our cape off, because we're gonna die with the cape. Look, you're gonna go to the funeral and be like, hey, there she go with her cape on. Listen, God did not intend for us to do all this stuff. And we are tired. And that's the reason why, as Black women, we are number 1 in heart disease. Number 1, because we're not taking care of ourselves. And number 2, we just too daggone independent. You don't want to ask for no help, don't want to receive help.
You got to. It's not meant for you to be alone. And we got to know how to love ourselves before we can actually love someone else. And I really feel that some of these issues, I can go back to me. Like you were sharing with you what God had to do for you. I can go, I can talk about me, because I don't want anybody to think I'm talking about them. But it goes back to that part where God is revealing your stinky self. He is revealing that side of you that you don't even see, that has a bad odor. And then that other side of you that compares who you're with to the last one that you had, or you haven't gotten over other ones that you were involved with, and you get those triggers that start messing with you. So we have a lot of people who are walking around after the divorce mad, but don't see it, angry, but don't they just blast it off, but they don't necessarily know why they're angry, because it goes back to what you were saying in the beginning. They're not digging into the root cause of the issues. I'm just waiting for her.
That's right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And then God starts showing me patterns. And this is why one of the things that I do with some of my female clients, Okay, this is something I do with some of my female clients. Is we do what we call a relationship resume.
Wow.
And in the resume, I have them to do sort of like your professional resume. I have them to do relationship resume, and they are to document all of their significant relationships. Now, the operative word is significant. And some women have one or two, and some of them have 5, 6, 7, 10. It doesn't matter. The number does not matter.
Right.
Um, but we look at it, and we look specifically for patterns.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we look for. And what I found, Lateka, is that when we look through the patterns, I'm like, girl, you didn't pick the same dude every time. He just may look different. He might live different. He might have a different job. Maybe he's saved. Maybe the other one wasn't unsaved. But his behaviors and the way that you guys corresponded to each other was the same. And the reason why that is because your wounds attract people with the same wounds or similar wounds. Now get this. We tend to choose what I call wound partners instead of purpose partners. And what's the
Love
difference?
it.
Your wound partner will always trigger your wounds. Now, listen, one of, one of the things that I know was an issue with me and my ex-husband is that I do not like to be ignored. Now, where does that come from? It comes from my abandonment issues from my daddy. My dad and every other man that I've had a relationship with, whether it was married or not, there was some sense of abandonment, rejection, some in there, right? So when we were married, he would ignore me, and so it would trigger those abandonment. I don't have a voice. I don't. You're not listening. I'm not respected. You don't value me, and that abandonment thing would rise up. Okay. Now, I did not know this until y'all a couple of years ago. I realized that that's what it was doing. It was like our brokenness was feeding off of each other. So I
Wow.
was his wound partner,
Come on.
and he was mine.
My God.
We was always in a wounded place. Um, and if we did not deal with the brokenness that he was dealing with, his and mine, and we could do counseling together, but we also need to do it separate, then we would continue. Listen, you can't be in a place where you're triggered. I've seen it on Facebook where people say you can't heal in the same place that you were hurt.
Come
Can you
on.
imagine trying to heal in a marriage? You're going to therapy, and your therapist is trying to get you to overcome it. But every time you go home, that person's woundedness is triggering yours. It's a no in losing battle. So the key is to choose a purpose partner and not a wound partner.
Purpose partner, not a
So
wound
time here tonight is
partner. Wow. That's powerful. Hurt people hurt people.
wound partner.
And yes. And I love
Yeah.
what you're saying, how you're breaking it down to help others understand how to see themselves and not blame everyone else for what's going on from the inside out. That's important.
That fire in you. Yeah. Ignite that fire to encourage you to be the best you can be. The person that's going to encourage you to only accept God's best.
Or this
Back
technology.
to the past, something that happened way back there. No, we're going forward, not backwards.
That's right.
So I encourage everybody listening to keep that in mind when you're dating. And if you've been divorced, you gotta look for patterns. And
Yes.
trust me, two broken people will attract one another. There's an energy in us that says, oh, I went through this. And then the other person said, oh, I went through this. So y'all get together and y'all talk about your wounds. Be careful, because That's a big clue that you're wound partners
Mm-hmm.
and, and not purpose partners.
Right, right. So
Mhm.
good. Thank you so much for sharing all of those powerful pieces. I love it and how you're breaking it down. Now, let's talk about how to live a life outside of the divorce. And it may just be you. How do you be good with just you? If you don't have a man or a woman on you don't have a boo or a bae, how do you just be good with just you after you've had relationships that have failed?
Right. Um, and I get lots of women. This is probably the majority of the women I get. They're coming out of a relationship, out of a marriage or something. And the first thing I teach them, the first week actually, what we do is we talk about them. I take the focus. I don't want to talk about what happened. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to talk about what happened the next time.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about you. Tell me about yourself. Who are
Mm-hmm.
you? What do you like? What do you not like? What's your favorite color? I try to help them build themselves up because they're going to need every bit of self-confidence, self-esteem,
Yes.
self-awareness, self-worth, self-value, all them self-words. They're going to absolutely need them to pull themselves out of this, failed relationship to be able to not only heal, but to exist. So for me, of course, I had my children. So for the ladies that don't have children, and you're just by yourself, maybe your children are grown or whatever, it's even more difficult because there's really nobody. It's just you. So I had my children, but you're gonna need lots of support. You don't need girlfriends that want to know, oh girl, what happened and all the business. No, you need a girlfriend that's gonna check on you, say how you doing. You need to get out of the house. You need to get some fresh air. No pity parties. And there are gonna be times that you need to vent. Have a vent session. Have it,
Yes.
but just don't stay
Yes.
there. Just don't
Yes.
stay there. Um, get busy. I always tell the ladies to work on things. Three B's, your three B's, y'all. You can work on three B's while you're healing, and that is your body, your brain, and your brand. Your
Wow.
body, get in the gym, go take some classes, lose some weight, feel better about yourself, get your hair done, all that. Something about hair and makeup makes a woman feel great. Number two is your brand. This is where purpose comes in. You got to find out what it is God has called you to do and get to work. Get to work. Number three is your brain. Turn off the TV, all this foolishness that we see on TV, and get you a book, a self-help book, something. Go to a conference, get you a coach working on your brain, your mindset. So those are your three B's that you can work on while God is detoxing. So he's trying to get
Mhm.
all of that stuff, that old stuff, so that he can build you back up
Yeah.
for your next relationship. And if it's
Right.
not a relationship, just to build you back up. So
Right.
because I tell my clients, and this is so powerful. You know how you have an onion in your refrigerator? Well,
Yeah.
you don't smell an onion. You don't smell an onion, do you?
Come on.
Until you do that.
Until. Love it.
Until you pull that little layer back. All you got to do is pull one. All of a sudden,
Right.
onions. I know it's crying and
Yes.
what smell like onion? It's powerful. So just understand that you cannot get to the root of it and the essence of it until you pull back the layers.
Yeah.
Very important. Once you come out of relationships, pull back the layers.
And I wanna bring this up too for you to expound on because you said something a few moments ago about yes, you gotta cry. I want to talk about the grieving period. It's not about death,
Mm-hmm.
it's grieving a relationship that didn't work out. It's grieving what went wrong and how we can put ourselves in a position like we feel like it's our fault. So many other things, but it's not about how long the grieving period lasts because each person is different. But can you just
Right.
speak to explain how it is okay that you grieve for a period to get it out of you as opposed to just working over top of it and you never deal with it. I believe that a lot of people continue to go through things that they never deal with. It's over, they put it in the back of their minds, and they just want to continue to move past it as if it never happened. Hence, family. But keep going. Just wanted to throw that out there too.
Right. Well, I want to use this demonstration. I use it all the time. You know how Genesis 2:24 says, when a man finds a wife, that they cleave. He should leave his mother and father, and they cleave together. Now, I told you that cleave is another word for glue. Okay? All right? So when you get married, you stand up there and you essentially are gluing two pieces of paper. Let's just use this paper. You're going to glue it together, right? I'm going to glue it together. So if I had some glue, I would glue it together, you guys. But you get the point. So you're going to glue the paper together. Now, when you get a divorce, you've got to snatch these two glued pieces of paper.
Come
apart from
on.
each other.
Woo.
Now, you snatch these two pieces of paper. If I had some glue, they ain't gonna come out like this.
Come on, that's good.
I hate to tell you, but it ain't. Girl, when they snatch it, you might have this. You might have this little piece left, like that's all you got.
Come on.
And he
Come
took
on.
his piece and all of yours. Okay?
Right. And even parts that was
all
on the
got.
inside of you
One
pulled off. Like that hole, there was a sheet on the inside. You pull some of the layers that we can't even see.
Yes. So by God, you should have an opportunity to grieve. Baby, you got one piece left.
Whew.
You have the right to grieve. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't have time to get yourself together. You have just been torn apart. You might have this left. I don't know. You might end up with all yours, just this little piece. Who knows?
I felt like I had nothing left to give.
But you deserve time to grieve.
Right.
And listen, girl, this is all I had left. And I gave this to my kids. Right. So listen, after I gave this to them, that's it. It wasn't nothing left. It was like, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I had. And see, I had a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. Hey, listen, they needed me. That's all I had left. Right. So I went to what I call divorce care. One of the best things I did. I found me a church that offered divorce care, and they had a course for me and the babies.
That's what we don't believe.
Yes, ma'am. So we went.
Come on.
Let me tell you, I don't know how I don't even remember how God led me to. I can't remember. I just know I ended up at this very nice, predominantly white church. And all they said was, come, everything is taken care of, bring the kids. We have a class for them, and we're gonna talk to them and let them say, how did it feel? How did this feel? How does this feel? How does this feel? And we have counselors for the children, and then we have a class for the adults where we talk about the grieving process, trying to get yourself back together financially, how you know when you're ready to date again, all of that. Girl, it was amazing. Y'all need to, if you find yourself in this situation, look on the internet and see if there's a church close by, or therapy center or something like that, mental health center that does divorce care. Phenomenal.
And we need that, and our babies need that. We don't know how they're truly affected by it. And I know that in itself is a conversation for another day, because we have to, that might be something that I talk about later, but we have to look at our kids. They're the next generation. What did they see? What did they feel? What did they experience? But who's asking them the question about what they see, what they felt? They're going to grow up and hurt people. Most of the time it's the kids that grow up into these young adults that continue to hurt others because they have no idea what's going on with them. And they got emotions all jumbled up, and they start lashing out at the world.
That's right. So my oldest son, who was 5. The baby was 3. Now, I'll be honest with you, the baby, the 3-year-old Jacoby, he didn't know what was going on. So he just kind of went with the flow. Probably
Yes.
asked him today, he probably don't remember a lot. But that 5-year-old, let me tell y'all, he remembered. He remembered the arguments. One day we were at dinner and my oldest son just bursted out into tears. I'm like, what's
Wow.
wrong with you?
Mhm.
And he says, I want to know why you left daddy.
Woo,
And we're at the restaurant.
Lord,
I'm
come
like,
on.
Jesus.
Those tough conversations.
Okay, well, okay. See, some of y'all parents, y'all ain't ready for it. Y'all ain't ready for your yes, honey. So I had to have a conversation with my son, and I told him the truth why I left. Within reason. I didn't give a lot of details, but it was part of my oldest son healing from the anger he had with me. And so when he was 5, I took him to a counselor. Um, and he loved that lady. As a matter of fact, when we passed by her office, still to this day, he says, Mom, I remember that lady that helped me. That's what he says. A lot of people don't believe in therapy, particularly in the African American community. I'm telling you, this helped my son. This helped my son so much. And she was able to let Jeremiah say what he wanted to say about what had happened between me and his daddy. And she called me and said, did you guys tell him that he need to keep this a secret? I'm like, I've never told him that. But
My
he
Lord.
thought, for whatever reason, you guys, that's why y'all got to understand these babies pick up on stuff, and you want to make sure that the devil don't have an opportunity to plant a seed that is not true,
So true.
right? So
So
I had to have a conversation with my son and say, you don't have to keep it a secret. This is some mom and daddy decided. It's not your secret. We don't do secrets in this house.
come on. Lord.
So
Oh God. You
it's
know,
okay to tell your teacher that you got to live with your mama and then you have to live with your daddy. And I saw a difference in my child after that.
yes. And I commend you for that. I do, because in our race, especially, there's a stigma to going to a therapist. There's a stigma
Mm-hmm.
to saying you need a psychologist or psychiatrist. There's a stigma that just says you need a coach. Or if you're going to need a coach, you got to be a life coach. It's got to be one
Mm-hmm.
of those. It can't be someone who's really going to help you dig into that mess that's going on in your life. And it's time to have these tough conversations. And I'm so grateful to hear that you're sharing with others and, with all of us, to let us know you did that for your son at an early age. And you don't know how
Yep.
that prevented some things to happen for him, that the enemy would have had him on a different path had you not opened up that door for him to just vent and talk about it.
Absolutely. And I just, and so one of the things I do with my children that we didn't get to do, Lateka, growing up, right?
Mhm.
Remember, we were growing up, you were children, you don't say nothing.
Because I said so, that part.
Because I said so, I should sit down, this is grown folk, get out.
Mm.
The problem is they sent us out in the world so naive and green. We didn't know what we were doing, don't know how to talk to people, don't know how to advocate for yourself. You don't know how to say what you want, mean what you say, and we just didn't know because they don't let us say nothing. So I decided I wasn't going to do that with my children, and within reason, respectfully, we can talk about feelings, and I wanted them to be able to when they decide to get married, if they do, to be able to say to their wife, that doesn't make me feel great, or this is how I feel about it. And it started with that divorce care and them having a class where they asked them, how do you feel? They felt that was a safe place. It's got to be a safe place now. Um, and then the therapy and us having a really open conversation, my children. Even to this day, I was going to move to Charlotte a couple years ago. And
Okay.
yeah, so I said, Mama, we need to have a conversation. And I said, now, if Mommy moves to Charlotte, how would y'all feel? And they looked at each other and they said, well, we wouldn't get to see Daddy. So that was it. Ain't no moving to Charlotte.
Wow. That's so
So I was like,
powerful.
Yeah, so I was like, there's no way I would take them from a willing father. Because, I grew up without my dad, so that was
Mhm.
important to me. So we
Yeah,
split time with them, but they said to me, they was like, Mommy, we won't get to see Daddy. And so I was like, okay, all right, well, we'll stay then. So I
that's
had to sacrifice and put off moving to Charlotte until they're either older or they go off to college. And I don't mind doing that as their mother because they ain't asked to come here.
that's awesome. Oh my God. I love everything that you have given out, and I know an hour is not enough time to really go into such a broad topic and a much needed conversation. So I'm sure you and I will be coming back, just digging in a little bit deep. You know how I get some of these series together. We'll be a group of us doing stuff, and we'll talk about it because I would love to have this conversation amongst men like we've done
Yes,
before. To
yes,
really talk
absolutely.
about that little boy. When did that little boy die that was on the inside of you?
Mhm.
How
Oh, that's
old was
good.
he when he finally grew up? Not necessarily die, but grow up. The woman that's on the inside, how long did it take for her to grow up? Because you still have people who are 50 and 60 still dealing with issues from from their
Right?
childhood and missing
From that
life.
childhood.
Yes, and you said, God, where is my abundant life? Remember, you were just sharing that about the first half hour into the show. Where is my abundant life? And we don't understand how blockage, I'm using the word that you
I
use,
sure
how
did.
we use that as blockage. That's the reason why we haven't seen the abundant life. We haven't seen the flow or the promise.
That's right.
So I'm going to
That's
let
exactly
you,
right. So
if you
now
will.
I'm in a habit of when I don't see what I feel like is should be manifesting, I always go back to God and say,
What did I do? Or what do I need to do? Go back. We didn't hear that part. You said when you go to God.
I couldn't hear you. You went out.
No, I didn't hear what you said. You were saying that you go back to God, and we didn't hear that part.
I couldn't hear you. You went out. You said, I'm gonna let you something.
Oh, you were just talking about when you go to God. We didn't hear the rest of that sentence. What you say to God.
Oh, I said that I go back to God when I'm not seeing manifestation.
Mhm.
I go back to God and find out where's the power. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what
Yeah.
we should be doing, and not
Okay.
not
So
blaming others.
when I'm not getting or if I don't feel like the manifestation that I think should be happening in my life, I go back to God and say, there's a blockage somewhere. Where is it?
Where is it? So good, so good.
Right.
Well, I
That's right.
definitely,
So I take the ownership off of God and other people and whatever and my circumstances and I put it back on me. Like, okay,
that's what.
well, what is the problem? Yes.
Yes, and I love it. So if you can let people know how to reach out to you, how to connect with you, we're getting ready to close. And I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. I may have to repeat that. I don't know. She heard it. You still with us, Seba? Did you hear what I said?
Okay.
Did you hear what I said?
Well, you can reach out.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
heard it. I heard
Okay, okay.
it. Yes. Yes. Yes, I did.
You can go ahead.
Okay. So people can find me on Facebook, obviously, under Sima Ytina Clark. Um, my website, SimaYtina.com. Listen, I've got quite a few courses I'm doing right now. One of them is a healing course. We're right in the middle of it. The next one will start in May. Registration starts April 1st. Um, and of course, I do my one-on-ones. I offer a free consultation. All you got to do is go to the website, click the link, and pick a spot. That's it. It is free. So I ain't got no excuses. Okay. So let's
I
get
love
together
it.
and see what we need to do to get you on abundant life. And I think that's it.
Awesome. Awesome. You are always a gem, a jewel, a beautiful woman that brings so many powerful ways of thinking, powerful ways to look at life, look at relationships, look at self. And I'm so grateful to have you on this platform with me again. And I'm telling you, I'm going to do something where I'm going to bring some women and some men together on here where we can really just dive into it. And it may not be on a Wednesday, it may be on another day, but I'm just letting everyone know, including you, I feel that this is something we need to talk about. We need to have tough conversations because we need to heal. Okay, so I love you.
We need to heal. And in our communities, we really need to focus on healing if we want to get our families back together.
Exactly. Oh God, that part is so important. But we'll be reaching out to you again.
Love you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for being a beautiful guest on Lateka S Carter Show. Have a wonderful evening. All right. Thank you all for hanging in there with us. I know that this topic, it is so needed and it's so broad. So we could talk about the divorce, how to get past it, how to heal, how to get yourself together, how to work on us, the self, all day long. I do understand that. And I'm going to do whatever I can to bring on some more powerful show topics because it's time to have those tough conversations. Would you agree? It's time for us to heal, not only as a family, not only as a community or as African-American people, but as a nation. It's time for us to do our part so that we can move forward. I'll have another powerful show coming on next Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Our shows are usually an hour long. So I want to go ahead, if people are still on here, Nicole, thank you so much for your commenting and watching. Ayana, if you're still here, thank you. What's up, lady? I love you. Love you all so much. And Nicole, I know, I can only imagine you have a story, and I'm going to be reaching out to you because I definitely want to bring you on so that you can share with others. My platform is about building up people, encouraging and sharing what God has given me, which is his platform, so that we can help heal others together. Also, Andrew, if you're still on here, thank you so much for being on here. Tamika's Sima's sister, thank you so much for being on here and watching. And Derek, if you're still here, Derek Reed, y'all saying some stuff a lot of folks will not say. That's right. It's time to have those tough conversations. And my auntie, hello, Karen. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, hanging out with us. Stacy, thank you for shouting out and being on here. This was our show for tonight. Teach me how to love me beyond the divorce. Next week, we'll be moving into another subject, and I'll be posting that information out there. I'm still waiting on my guest to confirm for sure that she's going to be on here. So we'll be coming on every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. May you have one incredible evening. I hope you have enjoyed this show. Please share, like. I'm also on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Please like the page, Lateka S Carter TV. There's going to be so many more things we're going to be doing to equip generations to live. I love you. Peace and blessings.